close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that nothing you see is actually what it appears to be. That the world as you perceive it is just a surface, and beneath that surface lies an invisible field, a hidden fabric that surrounds you, influences you, and shapes you, even if you can't see it yet. Now open your eyes and ask yourself one simple question. Am I seeing the full reality, or just a tiny fraction of it? From the moment we are born, we're trained to think in a linear, logical, three-dimensional way. We're taught to believe only in what can be touched, measured, and repeated. But what if that very training is what limits our perception? This video is not a theory, it's a tool. A guide to activate your quantum vision. That dormant capacity in awakened souls to see beyond time, beyond appearances, beyond the veil. Here, you won't just receive ideas. You'll receive keys to remember. You'll cross the threshold between the visible and the invisible. And if you're here, it's not a coincidence. You're about to discover the 5 ways to activate your quantum vision. And once you do, reality will never look the same again. Seeing in 4D is not about seeing with your eyes. It's about seeing with your consciousness. It's not about hallucinating or imagining things that don't exist. It's about rising above linearity, as if your soul could float beyond the logic of the clock and observe reality from a higher vantage point. Have you ever felt like you already knew something was going to happen? Like a part of you had already lived a moment before it even occurred? That's not coincidence. That's an echo of your 4th-dimensional consciousness. Most people live trapped in a single room of time, like walking through a museum, seeing only one painting at a time. But thinking in 4D is like rising to a balcony from which you can see all the rooms at once. It's understanding that time doesn't move. You move within it. That past, present, and future exist simultaneously as frequencies of information you can access, if you know how to tune into them. To see in 4D is to recognize the present as a gateway. It's knowing that your future self already exists, and that you can connect with it now to receive guidance, clarity, or answers. It's like having an activated inner compass, a way to perceive the energy behind words, the causes behind events, and the hidden paths behind every decision. This isn't magic, it's expanded perception. And once you learn to see this way, fear dissolves, because you know you're not limited by the now. The 3-dimensional mind lives in reaction. The 4th-dimensional mind lives in creation. We were taught that time is a straight arrow moving from past to future, that what's gone no longer exists, and what's coming hasn't yet been created. But that's an illusion. A useful illusion to organize life, yes, but deeply limiting when it comes to expanding your consciousness. The ancient cultures knew this. To the Egyptians, time was a spiral. To the Mayans, a cycle. To shamans, a river you could navigate in both directions. It wasn't science fiction. It was another way of experiencing existence. And what does modern science say? Einstein confirmed it. Time is not absolute. It can expand, contract, even stop, depending on the observer. Quantum physics went even further. It showed that particles exist in multiple states until consciousness observes them. In other words, reality is not fixed. It bends before your attention. What does this mean for you? That you're not trapped in a single timeline. You're vibrating within a field of infinite possibilities. Every thought, every emotion, every decision is like a coordinate that connects you with a different version of reality. Thinking time is rigid is like watching a movie and believing only the current scene exists. But you're the viewer. You can pause, rewind, or fast forward if you know how to see from another dimension. Time is not your enemy. It's a mirror, and you decide from where to observe it. Since the dawn of humanity, sages have spoken of the other side of the veil, a space you cannot touch, but you can feel, a space where time curves, matter becomes energy, and the soul remembers what the mind has forgotten. In ancient Egypt, initiates trained their inner vision. They meditated on sacred geometry, on symbols from the beyond, and they learned to perceive realms where thought shaped form. In India, Tantric Hinduism spoke of Maya, the illusion of time, past, present, and future were nothing more than overlapping veils on the same field of consciousness. And the shamans of the Amazon traveled through dimensions in altered states, not to escape, but to access wisdom the ego cannot grasp. But you don't need to travel to the past to understand this. Modern science is arriving at the same doorsteps. Einstein's theory of relativity taught us that time is not a constant. It is a variable that responds to the observer's perception. And quantum physics proved that reality doesn't exist until someone observes it. In other words, consciousness is the architect of the universe. And this is where Napoleon Hill comes in. In his most profound work, he stated, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But what's not always understood is this. In order to conceive something, you must see it before it exists, not with your physical eyes, but with a trained quantum vision. When you combine ancient intuition with modern thought, a powerful understanding is born. You can see before you see, and that's not a gift for the chosen few. It's the birthright of the awakened soul. Expanding your consciousness sounds lofty, and it is. But like every evolutionary leap, it also comes with challenges. Thinking in 4D isn't just about seeing more. It's about feeling more, understanding more, and holding a greater level of inner responsibility. Here are 5 common challenges people face when activating their quantum vision. 1. The spiritual ego. One of the first traps is believing that seeing more makes you more evolved, more enlightened, more important. But that's not consciousness. That's ego in disguise. As Napoleon Hill said, genuine wisdom is always humble. The expanded soul doesn't compare, doesn't boast. It simply observes and serves from a deeper place. 2. Perceptual overload. When your field expands, you start to feel energies, emotions, and thoughts you didn't notice before. And if you're not grounded, it can overwhelm you. The key is in your energetic structure: meditation, breath work, nature, emotional cleansing. Don't block what you perceive. Anchor yourself so you can integrate the new. 3. Disconnection from the present. Many people, once they access visions, alternate realities, or future timelines, become detached from the here and now. But the present is not a pause. It's the quantum portal. Everything happens now in different layers. The true spiritual master lives in the present, even if their soul walks between worlds. 4. Confusing intuition with projection. When your quantum vision awakens, you might receive messages, signs, or premonitions. But you may also project your fears without realizing it. How do you tell the difference? Intuition is calm, clear, without urgency. Projection stems from fear or desire. Learn to listen to yourself with vibrational honesty. 5. The vertigo of multiple truths. 3D thinking wants a single truth. 4D consciousness accepts that many truths can coexist. This can feel confusing, but also liberating. Because you no longer need to be right, you only need to be at peace with your frequency. Seeing in 4D is not a mental game. It is a full-body transformation. And like any deep process, it demands humility, discernment, and commitment. Napoleon Hill said it clearly: "The man who masters himself is greater than he who conquers a city." And here, the battlefield you must conquer is your own inner universe. Now that you understand what it means to see in 4D and the challenges it brings, we move into the most important part: how to activate that quantum vision. Here are 5 practical and spiritual ways to start seeing the invisible, feeling the unspoken, and living in alignment with your expanded self. 1. Consult your future self. Your future self already exists in another timeline, a wiser, clearer, more evolved version of you. And you can communicate with them. Every time you face a decision, close your eyes and ask, what would the version of me who has already overcome this do? Listen to that inner voice. Visualize yourself walking with confidence, peace, and certainty. That's how you align with your highest timeline. Napoleon Hill knew this too. Whatever the mind of man can imagine and believe, it can achieve. But it's not just about imagining. It's about feeling as if it's already real. 2. Visualize from the right frequency. Most people visualize what they want, but they do it from lack, from scarcity. Quantum vision doesn't ask for things. It feels as if it already is. Don't just imagine the outcome. Imagine yourself embodying that outcome. It's not about seeing a car. It's about feeling the freedom, peace, or pride that comes with it. When you visualize from the being, not the having, you enter vibrational coherence. 3. Detect and break time loops. Do you feel like you're repeating the same mistakes, emotions, or relationships? You might be trapped in an energetic loop, a timeline you keep feeding with your frequency. See it, name it, and do something different. Sometimes, one conscious choice is enough to break years of unconscious repetition. Quantum vision lets you spot the pattern before it repeats. 4. Use meditation as multidimensional access. Every time you close your eyes, you have the opportunity to elevate your consciousness. Visualize your life from above, as if you're a higher observer floating over your timeline. See the energetic knots, the future forks, the messages hidden in the present. Ask yourself inwardly, what version of me needs to be released? Which path holds more expansion? Don't look for logical answers. Allow the information to come as intuition, as image, as sensation. That is the language of the soul. 5. Act as if you already inhabit your new reality. Thinking differently means nothing if you keep acting the same. Quantum vision must be anchored with aligned action. Walk as if your purpose is already clear. Speak as if your abundance is already a fact. Love as if you already feel whole. Because when you act from your expanded self, reality bends to your frequency. These 5 practices are not external rules. They are internal reminders, powerful tools to shift your consciousness from spectator to creator. To see in 4D is to remember who you were before you forgot. It's to walk with the certainty that everything already exists. You just need to tune in. Because you're not trapped in this version of yourself. You are choosing this version, and you can choose another one at any moment. You've reached the end of this journey, but really, it's just the beginning. Because once you start seeing in 4D, once your consciousness expands beyond time, you can't go back. The illusion shatters. The veil falls, and you realize reality wasn't what it seemed. You weren't a victim. You were the architect. You weren't trapped. You were simply asleep. To see with the eyes of the soul is to realize that everything you were searching for outside was already within you. You're the frequency. You are the channel. You are the silent creator who never stopped creating. Now you know, every thought is a signal. Every emotion is a decree. And every action you take today becomes a seed in a new timeline. If you think from your expanded self, if you decide from your higher self, reality bends. The universe responds, and the invisible starts to become visible. As Napoleon Hill said, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. That's why true quantum vision isn't in your eyes. It's in the vibrational coherence between what you think, what you feel, and what you do. When you live from that place, your life becomes a sacred mirror, a perfect dance between your soul and the infinite field of possibility. From this day forward, every time you face a challenge, ask yourself, from which dimension am I interpreting this? From fear or from expansion? From the limited self or from the self who already crossed the threshold? Make this question your inner compass. Make your consciousness a living tool. Make your life a quantum portal. This is not about escaping the world. It's about seeing it with new light. About living with your soul's eyes open and your heart deeply connected to the all. Because you don't need proof. You need conviction. And once you believe, you see. Quantum vision is not a mystical luxury. It is an evolutionary tool, a bridge between your soul and your destiny. And if you're watching this, it's because deep down, you already knew that. You just needed to remember. You're not here by chance. You're here because you're ready. Ready to choose your highest timeline. Ready to stop looking backward and start inhabiting the future from the now. Because time doesn't control you. You are the one who crosses it. You're the one who bends it. You are the one who chooses which version of yourself will lead your story. So today, choose from the soul. Act as if you're already living that new reality. Walk with the certainty that the invisible has always been with you, waiting for you to dare to see. And if this message resonated with you, if something inside you remembered a forgotten truth, subscribe to the channel Napoleon Inspires. Share this teaching with others who are ready to awaken. And leave a comment below telling us what changed in you today when you activated your quantum vision. Because seeing in 4D is not a gift. It is your nature. And today it just woke up.